Before men learned how to control fire and put it to work, it was man's greatest enemy. I think of fire in connection with emotions because when you become stirred up, when your emotions control your actions, it affects not only yourself, but the people around you. Let's take a look at a slice of everyday life to understand how some stimuli can bring about various emotional responses.
I was diagnosed at 30 years old, okay? So I tell people that that was 30 years, or 3 decades of living in an alternate dimension. As a individual just told me, it's kind of like I was a bubble that just floated around. I was just there, you know? And then I started thinking of The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Like the film, Wizard of Oz. With, is it Glinda, the Good Witch? How she arrives in a bubble.
That's an interesting concept, because did you feel growing up that you were sort of in that bubble, that you were on the outside of what everyone else's experiences were?
No, I did believe that I was on the inside. This brain told me that we all shared the same mind, that we all shared the same experience, that all of this, like all of us, were one. Like we were the same person. And that extended to like furniture. This brain told me that I was that chair, that I was this table, you know, that I was all of this. You know? And to say I know I'm supposed to say that, but it's like that we are all of this, or we're all of this. So no, I did not believe I was on the outside. I believed I was at the center of everything, and not in an egotistical sort of way.
Right.
I was just part of the whole, you know, I was at the heart of it.
When you have certain experiences, you respond with various emotions. Jeff's losing control of himself. His thinking is becoming muddled, and he's careless in his actions. The madder he gets, the worse it becomes. When Jeff's in the habit of controlling his emotions, his thinking is straighter. You get the idea. Cause, effect.
I imagine you've grown up on the outside since day one.
Yeah, it's been kind of weird for me, because, I mean, I felt kind of like on the outside, because I remember having to like take therapy, and I knew the other kids like that I was like going to school with didn't, so I felt left out.
And how does his anger affect the others?
Hey, what's gotten into that crazy kid's sister?
Oh, Jeff, don't be that way.
Rage is the response to the primary stimulus of boredom.
Like, I mean, I can still make friends super easily, and it actually comes as a surprise to most people when I tell them that I'm autistic, because I seem normal to them.
When he tries to understand his emotions and those of people around him, Jeff has less trouble controlling himself, and he and those around him are happier.
When you have that diagnosis, or people know, it's all they see. And that's true with anything. If you have cancer, right? If you have schizophrenia, right? It doesn't matter what it is that you are quote-unquote labeled with, but sometimes that's all people see.
Fear is the response to loud noises or loss of support.
Yeah, that's why I've been like reluctant to talk about it really that much, because I mean, I'm not like reluctant to open up or like
of course.
talk about it. I mean, I'm not reluctant to share any information.
You dirty little sneak! I'll teach you not to open my mail.
I didn't know about him!
Yeah, and I've said this a lot too. I hate being pitied like more than anything. Like I've made this comparison, but I'd rather be like relentlessly bullied for a year than be pitied for 5 months. Because I hate the feeling of like being viewed as less than when I'm not.
And the emotional response to love is usually the result of a show of affection or favor. Then as we grow up, many everyday things and social situations become associated with these primary stimuli.
I was talking to like an autistic kid one time, and like I mean I acknowledge, because I've been like in the same situation as him, like not being able to express, and I was just patient and I took my time and I talked to him normally, like I would like anyone my age or older than me. Like I didn't even talk down to him.
How you just talk to a person?
Yeah, and he was able to like communicate with me and like not get mad, because he was treated normally.
We all do need support. It's just how much of it, how often, because some of us do not understand how all of this is working, and others don't know that they're supposed to explain it in a certain way so that we do understand. And that's really just the biggest hindrance, I suppose, or difficulty, challenge that we do run into is that we can get it. It's just it hasn't been explained yet in a way, that, and some people call that special treatment, or being difficult, or being bratty, or, and it's like, no, it's more, it's, some of this is so incredibly arbitrary or vague that it's like, this brain isn't really putting together like what it is that I'm supposed to do to navigate through this or negotiate what it is that we can do as a group. And people know that now with me, that they'll take a moment, as you did with the individual, and just say, oh, well, this is how it started, this is where we're going, and this is probably when it'll stop, and this is the reason for it. Oh, okay, very good. I'm up to speed, so let's do it,
The more he exercises control of his emotional behavior, the easier it becomes to meet the next situation without losing control.
I'm thinking of an incident years and years and years ago, right?
Oh.
He was quite young.
Okay.
And I couldn't take another meltdown because I would start internalizing it all, and I'm starting my internal freak out mode, right? And so rather than have that, I tried to nip it in the butt, and I just did it. But I wasn't ever giving him the opportunity. And I think that this happened often, looking back, reflecting back. And I tried to curtail things before they got out of control, right? Sure. But that never gave him the opportunity to be with it and to work through it. But I think that if we, had the experience and the knowledge of what we have today to be able to go back and do things differently, sure. But like you said, we can't, and so we just have to, like we talked about it, we have to own it.
Well, yeah, but to get that knowledge, you have to realize the flaws, and you have to go through this. So, I still wouldn't go back, because I acknowledge, from this experience, I guess, the flaws of, treating autistic people like they're objects or, like, machines.
Or children, like children.
Yeah, I just feel, I guess, like, I know more about it from my experience, and I wouldn't change it. I mean, it'd be painful to go through again, but I still feel like I'd be learning more. And even if that's at the expense of having, I guess, a little bit of a worse life, feeling like people view me as an outsider, we wouldn't be, really talking about this if, everyone, or I viewed myself. Well, I guess I did view myself as an insider, but we wouldn't be having the same conversation if these things didn't happen, and we wouldn't be able to bring awareness, I guess, to the flaws.
And so many things and people cause us to respond emotionally. Yes, by a better understanding of the emotional patterns of everyday life, and by knowing how you respond to various stimuli, you can develop better control by eliminating the stimulus, or by modifying the stimulus, or by modifying the response.
Thank you so much for joining me, both of you. Thank you for making the time.
I think that we all have so much to share, and education is a huge part of that. Being able to have people see a different perspective, so you're doing great work.
You can control the fire of your emotions. You can balance your emotions and use them so that your personality becomes more pleasant. And you and those around you are a great deal happier and healthier.